All right, all right. We are back at Grit Won't Quit today. We have a very special guest. I'm in Belmore, New Jersey, but our guest Hayden is in Italy today. Hayden, how are you this morning?
I'm great, my friend. I'm
Well,
living
it's
the
not it's
dream. I'm
not
happy.
actually
I'm
more it's
healthy.
actually not even morning over in Italy right now, right?
No, not here. It's dark. It's dark. It's nighttime. I'm almost done for the day, ready to have a glass of wine.
There you go. So, thank you for coming on today. Let me just introduce our guest host. We have Marc Vasquez from Wingman on today. Morning, Mark. How are you?
Doing good. How are you, Tom?
Excellent. So we have Hayden's going to tell us all about coaching and international coaching and being around the world and doing it. So Hayden, let's jump right into it. How long you been in the coaching game?
Been a professional coach for 5 years.
And what
Yep.
makes you professional at this?
Oh, that's a great. I produce an income that provides the lifestyle for my family.
Perfect.
I
Now,
think that is that how
you
to that's
we
how we categorize what is professional, I think.
there you go. I'm
Yeah,
okay.
I'll go with that. I'll go with that.
I'll
Yeah.
give you that answer. I'll accept that. Now, and who's your ideal customer and client that you coach?
Yeah, I coach leaders. So I'm looking for people who want to change the world. I'm looking for people they have a deep calling for greatness. Maybe they can't put their finger on it, but there's something in them that has them want to blaze their own path and impact the world. They're my ideal clients. Yeah.
If I was looking for a coach, I think we would be a good fit.
Cool. Well, you're more than welcome, mate. I'll offer you a complimentary session. It's yours.
Perfect. I try to do things that change the world. I'm a big believer in it. I love it. You know, I think that's awesome. I think that's why I became an entrepreneur. I was just talking about that to somebody else on a podcast about the fact that like you have more time, you could do things. You left that 40-hour
Mm.
week job to work and make your own hours and you end up working 80, 90 of them. But at the same time, you're creating systems that, I always say to my guys, I want to be better than yesterday. I want to do it better. If we just want to keep improving, refining, and getting better at it and doing more things.
Yeah, beautiful. Exactly. Then you are an ideal client. We would
Do you
do
have a
well together.
mastermind group or something that, with all your clients that you guys go through ideas and stuff, or are you more one-to-one coaching?
I've been one to one, moving into creating group programs next year. It's been one to one
I
so
love it.
far. My philosophy was the way to the many is through the one. I need to master my one to one coaching and understand people as a whole, and then I'll have something to provide a value to the group. But if I can't
Sure.
impact one person to transform their life, then I have nothing of value to say. So that's how I've been functioning.
Hayden, can you share a story or a success story that you had with your coaching and kind of walk us through the journey of what you do?
Yeah, definitely. One of my favorite success stories, I had a client back in Canada, and when I met him, he was living in a van that he converted into a motorhome next to railway tracks. And his bathroom was a bucket, and he was drinking and smoking every day. He was landscaping for cash, and he was highly productive, very intelligent, charming man, but not living to his fullest potential. And he wanted to be a real estate agent. We started coaching, and we started getting things out of the way, his fears, his concerns, dealing with them and removing them. For example, he was terrified of marketing himself and what people will think. So we dealt with that fear and removed it. He still was hung up on past broken relationships with women, so we dealt with that, removed it. He's now running his real estate company. He has a real estate company, a development company, and one other company, so three. He's fallen in love and married the woman of his dreams. They work together, and they now rent the top floor of one of the tallest buildings in his city. So he gets to overlook the entire city. And he's positioned himself as one of the top performing real estate agents in his city as well. So absolutely transform his life. And now he's living his true self powerfully, effectively within his community. So that's one of my proudest success stories. He was one of my first clients too.
Do you take all the credit?
No, it's definitely teamwork makes the dream work. I'm the guide, but they're
How
doing
long
all
were
the
you
hard
coaching
stuff.
with them? How
We
long did it
coached for
take to
about
kind
three
of?
years. 3 years. Yeah, 3 years to turn
Oh,
it
wow.
around. Yeah.
Without giving away your secret sauce, I guess you would say, what what should I expect, or your clients expect in the journey? I mean, what are you doing throughout that journey that's making him go from the car to the penthouse, right?
Yeah, it's confronting yourself, confronting what's really causing you to be who you're being and do what you're doing. Often there's looking into the past, how you became the way you are, the decisions you made. For example, for everybody, something has happened between you and your parents that upset you, and you made a decision about yourself and your life, and it shaped your life. And until you get that part of your past complete, those decisions are just running in the background and they're actually controlling you. So there's that internal past work, dumping the past, which makes space for a new future. There's stuff like understanding the mind and how the language we use and the words we use have impact. So, for example, most people unconsciously throw around the words like need, have to, got to, and they're not empowering words at all. They just create pressure and stress. I train them on language like I will, I am, I get to, I choose to, little tweaks like that that actually empower them. These little tweaks over a long period of time make a huge difference. And then there's things like them discovering who they're being in life. People are often being victims, they're being upset, they're being avoidant, and they're totally unaware of it. So becoming aware of who they're being, dealing with it, and then creating a new way of being that will actually have them meet their vision and their goals. They're the types of things we cover. I like to say to my clients, I'm going to bring out the worst in you and we're going to deal with it. So all you're left with is the best.
I love that.
Yeah. So yeah. Does that answer your question?
No, it
Yes.
absolutely does.
Yeah.
Obviously, some of the best coaches, and the reason why they're good coaches is because they've had their own experiences, whether they're good and
Oh,
they're
yeah.
bad. What brought you to this place of saying, you know what, I've done things in my past, or I've gone through stuff, and now I want to be the person that's coaching others to be successful. What was that trigger for you? What was that change that made you say, let's go this direction?
Yeah, and it's a long story, and I'll give it as quickly as I can. When I was very young, my father said to me that I'm the reason my mother died. And that's who I became for myself, the mother killer. And I really started to isolate myself from my family and thought I couldn't be loved and I wasn't worthy and had a really nasty mindset. And by the time I was 16, I was already injecting drugs. I wasn't going to school. I was staying out on weekend with criminals. And I saw a future of death or jail. That's what I saw for myself. And I was so lucky that my mother-in-law, who is my mother, that's another story, came into the bathroom one day at 16 crying, and she opened up this DVD case and there were used syringes in there, and she said, I don't know why you do this to yourself. You've always been a good boy. And it really hit me that what if she's right? What if I am this good person? What if I have this potential people tell me I have? And it was enough, that questioning of myself and her raw impact was enough for me to stop hanging out with the friends I was doing drugs with, some of them who did die, some who did go to jail, and start socializing with other people. And I saw, hang on, I don't have to be this junkie. Maybe I'm not as worthless as I think. And that was the beginning of the uphill. And I've been so lucky that I've had people in my life like that who've been willing to stand for my potential and tell me I have it and give me the opportunity to develop. It took another 16 years before I became this man. It wasn't like an overnight flip of the switch. I was still drinking, I was still abusive, I was still doing the wrong stuff, but that was the beginning of it. And now I get to be that guy for others. I can see their potential and I can hold them to it and I can stand for them and all their greatness coming out. So that was the pain that is the source of my power, I'd say.
That's
Wow,
awesome. What a great transformation story for yourself.
that
Yeah,
is huge.
yeah, yeah, it's been a life, I tell you. I've lived a few lives. Yeah.
Now, do you drink anymore?
I quit drinking at like the heavy blackout, trying to escape my own life drinking. I quit that at
Okay.
22.
Okay.
I kept drinking socially. Without that,
Hmm.
without so much that need to escape myself or that need to run away. But I still used drugs and alcohol as an escape from my anxiety and an escape from my boredom. It's only been very recently that I've really discovered the source of my use and my addiction. Yeah. So now I can say I can use these things socially and healthily. They're no longer an abusive subject for me.
That's great.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing
Yeah,
that.
thank you.
It's not easy
Yeah, my
to
pleasure.
deal with and yeah, go through, but we
No,
appreciate
it's
that.
not. It's not easy.
Yeah, and I, obviously I always say this, we can't imagine what people are in their own situations because we didn't live them and
Mm,
go through them. But to hear them, I think they kind of remind you of, whether you're going through it or you're not, whether you're blessed or you have the opportunity to be blessed right down the road. And so that's huge. Have you had other jobs outside of this? Besides
yeah.
coaching, what else?
Yeah. Yeah, well, starting to ditch school at 13 years old and wanting money, I started working at around 13, 14 years old in a pet store. I've done everything. I've done pet store, I've done camping store, I've done furniture warehouse, I worked in a pub, I did some adult entertainment at hens parties. I did door knocking for sales, car sales. I did climbing trees as an arborist. You name it, I've done it. And the interesting thing, this is great, I've been fired from nearly every job I've ever had. So working for others just didn't work for me. I was too headstrong, too stubborn, too independent. And eventually I'd outgrow my boots and annoy my boss, and he'd say, it's time for you to go somewhere else. Yeah.
Well,
That's
so
crazy.
Mm.
sorry,
So
Tom, I keep
now,
cutting you off.
so now, where does the business go from here? So you've gotten to this point. You've overcome a lot of obstacles, hurdles, issues in your life. You've now, have a success. Sounds like a successful business. You coach guys on mindset, which is powerful. So where do you want to see
Yeah.
the business go?
Great question. Thanks for asking. My goal is to be the number one mindset coach in the world. I want to be coaching industry leaders across the field, presidents of countries. I see that with AI and the technological revolution that's coming, there will be a huge layoff of people in all industries. And all of a sudden, we're going to be faced with robots and technology that's better than us in every way. And humans aren't going to have the need for work. And there's going to, all of a sudden, our sense of purpose, our sense of contribution will be gone. And people are going to be looking for leadership and guidance. And I see myself being one of the leaders in that space. So that's where I'm headed.
So how many years till we don't have jobs anymore?
I'd say 5 to 10, and we'll be outdone by the robots for sure.
Crazy
Yep.
to think, but they don't need days off. They don't take sick days. They don't talk
They're going to
back.
speak in every language. They're gonna be able to think. A human talking to AI is going to be like a human talking to a tree, just roles reversed. We're going to be the trees. That's how slow they're going to
Yeah,
think we are. Yeah. So we are going to replace so fast, and it's going
we're
to be
gonna
so
we're gonna be
rough for
outdated.
us. So outdated. We're old news. We're like dinosaurs,
Yeah.
and we'll be fossils. Yeah. So yeah, 5 to 10 years, and it's going to be a new world, totally new world for us.
That's awesome. So
Yeah.
what's one, daily habit that our listeners could adopt or improve on that'll help their mindset, right? As a business owner, entrepreneur, what's one daily habit or that's going to help them?
That's a great question. I'll share the habits that made the biggest difference to me, and there's a few of them. Number one, definitely socializing with successful people. They have the perspective you need to be successful. If you're not socializing with successful people, then by default, you're socializing with unsuccessful people, and they have a perspective you don't want. You don't want their opinion
No.
because it's gotten them what they've got. So, number one, got to get out there and socialize with successful people. Number two, find something that'll make you uncomfortable every day. My favorite is a cold shower. Every morning, cold shower. Every morning, I go through the same thinking. Oh, I don't want to do this. Why am I doing this myself? And I overcome my reactive thoughts. If you're not practicing overcoming your reactive thoughts, you're going to be run by them, and your future will look much the same as your present. Number three, reading books. That a book is a direct tap into the mind of successful people. You can read exactly how they think. Now, if you think exactly like Richard Branson and you solve problems like Richard Branson, what's going to happen to your life? It's going to end up much the same as his. Number four, journaling. You must be taking time out to stop and reflect on yourself, who you're being, what you're thinking, how you come to think that way. I think that that's a crucial step in self-development. I'd say they're the top four.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think my biggest one I think is the mindset around great people, right? Successful people.
Mm,
Tom and I love networking with people, and I think it's a huge testament to not only Tom's business, right, but I think many people's success, right? Again, you're surrounding yourself with people who have gone through a lot, right? Who know, where they've gone and where they need to go, and being alongside with them, learning and growing with them, right, through the pain and the good, just makes you a
yeah.
stronger and sharper tool. And the cold shower thing, I think I have to implement that. That's just a great,
Yes.
putting yourself in uncomfortable
Yeah.
situations, right? In sales specifically for me, it's, you're making a cold call, no's are something that you have to be comfortable with every day, right? It means you're getting closer
Hmm.
to that next yes. And so sometimes it's frustrating, right? But at the same time, it's rewarding because, you know, not a lot of people are willing to do it, right? And I think that's what's going to separate this world, especially with AI. Is not a lot of people are going to be willing to learn AI or put themselves out of there because, they think, hey, we're going to be around no matter what. And time has proven things change really fast, and they're upgrading every single day. So it's a great perspective. I appreciate
That's
that.
scary to think about, though. Like, and it's gonna, to you guys' point, it's gonna happen. 5 to 10 years is not far away. Like, to really rethink it. And even in some of the work that we do, things that were important 2 years ago and how it gets done, and things that are important today are very different. And I think that people have to really start to think about what it is that they're going to do in this world, because
Hmm.
a lot of the jobs are not going to be the way they thought they were going to be. And people have to
Yeah.
change, because I think that one thing I think a lot of people get stuck in bad habits, like, well, habits, right? I've always done it this way. This is the way we do it. We've been doing it at this company for 15 years like this, but that doesn't mean that in year 16 or year 20 that is the same anymore. And if you're adaptable and flexible and, can bend, I think it'll be okay. But it's the people that are stuck in their ways.
Yeah. They're going to have the hardest time. That's for sure.
Yep. And it's going to be interesting just to kind of see AI like fully blow out, because I think that there's a lot of things that we don't even can't even think about yet. But in a few years they'll be here.
Beyond our ability to. Yeah, way beyond our ability. Once AI is self-aware and designing itself, we've literally created a god. It will be able to redesign its body, redesign its mind, manipulate the elements to a way we don't even understand yet. Yeah, we have literally created a god.
So Hayden, as someone who's obviously sees where this may potentially go, right? Right now, as humans, what do you think, especially in your world of coaching, how much should we be investing in the focus of technology, and how much should we be investing in the focus of human connection, right? Is it a balance? Should one be greater than the other? Where do you feel the sweet spot is as a coach?
Oh, that's a great question. Where to focus? I can say that I'm focused on the human element. I see that if I'm a top performer in my industry, even with AI, there will still be humans who want that human touch. I think humans who've been born around my age and who've grown up without technology, and it's new to them, will always want the human touch. People younger than me, where technology is the norm, won't care about human to human. They'll be happy with AI. So I think by being the best in the world at what I do, I'll still have a place. I am concerned for the young people now who are still creating their lives through the old systems, schooling and university. I think they'll be outdated. I think the kids who are in high school now, many of the jobs that they're aiming at, accountancy, lawyers, all that stuff, will be nearly completely replaced within the next 10 years. And only the top performers in any industry will still have a space in the marketplace. So I'd say if you're young, focus on technology now. Yes, the human to human element will still be crucial in the sense of relationships and general well-being, definitely. Yeah, I think for anyone who's developing themselves now, your goal is to be number one in your industry. If you're the best at what you do, if you're interesting, if you're productive, there'll be some place for you in the world. But if you're mediocre or average and you're not willing to do the work to be the best, I do think you'll be outdated, unfortunately. There won't be a place for you in the workforce. Yeah,
Hayden, what do we
that's my
do
view.
though
That's not
if
the
the work
truth.
if the workforce take going off that thought, if the workforce doesn't have enough spaces for all the people, all the players don't have a position on the team, what happens? What happens to us as a
That's a,
society? What people, 70% of people want purpose in their job. That they're in
yep.
it because they want to find purpose, and the purpose in their life is driven through their job or their career or their employment.
Yeah. And what I think we're going to see, if you look back through history over the last 100 years, and with the technology revolution that we've seen, so first we had machinery and it replaced the workforce in factories. All these jobs got taken away. Machines started producing everything, and our jobs stopped being physical. And it took so people weren't even conscious of their physicality. The women at home worked hard, everything was done by hand. The men went to work, they worked hard, everything was done by hand. We took away that physical element. And what we've seen now is to maintain physical health, you need to be conscious and you need to be responsible for it. Then we saw with the entertainment revolution, we have TVs, we've got social media. We took away that social element of human beings. Whereas before, you didn't have to think about being social. If you wanted entertainment, you went to a neighbor's house, your friends came over, you played music, you had to do something yourself. Then now, for that social element, you got to be super conscious of it. You got to be responsible, and it's not the norm anymore. When we take away purpose, I think it's going to be exactly the same. People will have to be conscious. They're going to have to be responsible of creating their own purpose outside of their work. And I think we're going to see an even bigger gap between successful people and unsuccessful people. I think it's going to grow even further. The people who are willing to be responsible, like we said, face themselves, do the hard work, they're going to do extremely well. And the people who aren't willing to be responsible, they're going to suffer even more. The mental health issues we see at the moment, the physical health issues are only going to increase because of it. That's my opinion.
Wow.
I don't think you're far off from it. I think we got to figure out we're in different countries, but I think as a country, as a world, as a nation,
Yeah,
we got to figure out because again, people need to have a purpose. One, people need to make a living so that they can live, but people need to have a purpose, and if that purpose is a lot through work, but I also think that there's jobs that don't exist today that will come up as from this. There's going to be, there's going to be more data reporting that doesn't exist today. Again, you're doing all this with AI. Well, what are the results? What are we really seeing? At the onset, it sounds great. You could do all this stuff, but now, what does the customer satisfaction level look like dealing with an AI bot on a live chat compared to talking to Mark on the phone about his website or the issues he's having in his marketing? It sounds awesome that you could use an AI bot to do that. And listen, I'd love to implement that in our company, but at the same time, we also care about customer satisfaction, and we're dealing with that older generation, which is a human element, and they don't want to talk. They don't always want to talk to my assistant. Nevertheless, a chatbot.
yeah.
So, the
They
younger
won't.
guys
The thing
totally.
is, the AI will be so good you won't know. You will be able to take a photo of your face and load it up to the AI, your voice, and it will create the video of you. It will watch you, so it'll know how you think, the decisions you make, and no one will know it's not you. That's how good it's going to get. Yeah.
I agree. I believe that too. But then you got to report on that, and you got to look at metrics on that. So things, there's going to be different jobs, but I think that some of these jobs will go away as new ones will appear.
Yeah, possibly. There's also the possibility. I know we're talking in theory, and you were going to ask something, Mark. So, what did you want to ask?
No, no, absolutely. I was just gonna say, I mean, in a coach mindset, obviously, where, what's next? I mean, like, what should, if you were my coach right now, you'd say, Mark, this is what you need to get done today, right? There's endless possibilities whether humans are going to be around, but robots will outlive us, whatever the case may be. But Like,
Yeah.
what is important for 2024 and walking into 2025?
Yeah, that's not my style of coaching. So I would talk with you so you can be clear and confident and you can create your own path. Yeah. I'm not one to tell people what to do. The people I lead are often leaders, and they do not like being told what to do at all.
That's fair.
They want a space where they can figure out their own mind and clarify their own path. It's about removing the fear, creating the confidence to take the path, to walk the path that they design. Yeah.
Is there a common mindset that you see a lot of? Like, is it self-doubt? Is it laziness? What is the common theme that you see through most leaders?
Yeah, it's a common theme for most humans. So everyone has resentments against their parents that are incomplete, that are still functioning in the background. Everyone has a relationship with time and money, and it's often a conversation of there's never enough. Everyone deals with focusing on what they don't want and creating themselves fear and anxiety. Everyone procrastinates and they think, oh, I don't want to do that. Oh, I can't be bothered. And they let those thoughts and those feelings run them. So if you take a step back from the individual and you look at humanity as a whole, humans are dealing with the same things, just with their own unique tweak on it. But underneath, every person's dealing with the same stuff. Not enough time, not enough money, upsets in their relationships. They get frustrated, they're reactive, they're unsure what they want at times. It's the same thing for everyone.
Understood. I think we have it's going to be an interesting next couple of years. Like Hayden, I think you nailed that. I think it's going to be a lot of change and a lot of stuff going on. And I think people have to have the right mindset going into this. Otherwise, they're going to be left out of this. And, then where do they go? I agree with you. So, I think that
Yeah, cool.
I'm excited to see it all kind of play out and see how it works. And thankfully, I'm pretty good at what I do. So I think I'll keep my job for a while. Mark, you better
Yeah.
keep your numbers up.
I know. Well, maybe I'll have AI work from 9 a.m. to 12, and then I'll start working after that.
There you go. So, Hayden, as we wrap up this conversation today, let people know where they can find you online, on social media, etc., so that if they want to get in touch with you and they have that, looking for that mindset coach, that you potentially can get that reach out.
Yeah, you can find me on LinkedIn, TikTok, my website, haydengriffiths.com. That's HaydnGriffiths.com. They'd be the best ways to connect with me. You can email me through my website, send me a message on TikTok, send me a message on LinkedIn, and I'll get back to you.
Awesome. This was a great conversation, and I look forward to catching up with you in the future. And you're doing great things. Keep up the great work.
Thanks, Tom.
Thank
Thanks
you,
for having
Hayden.
me. Yeah,
Thank
my
you.
pleasure,
Thanks
Mark.
for
Thank
coming
you.
on. All right. Have a
See you
great
later.
day. Go enjoy a glass of wine in no in Italy.
Go.
All right. Bye
Awesome.
bye.
Thank you.